Welcome to the complete story of Batman Joker War. Now guys, in this video I'll be covering Batman number 95 through 100. I've been making videos on this whole event for the past 2 months, but if you don't want no interruption, just a full story, then this video is for you guys. Alright? And guys, consider the fact that pretty much my editing has gotten better, so the beginning of the video will look worse than, say, the end of the video. Because it's just gotten better, because this is the past 2 months, guys. So obviously Batman number 95, my video on that, and my reads on that will be not as good as, say, Batman number 100. I'm still proud of it, but it's just gotten better over time, because my philosophy is I'm always trying to make each video better than last. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this, but some context in case you don't know what you're getting into. Well, pretty much Joker stole Batman's money. He has all of his toys, pretty much, Batmobiles, well, Joker-mobiles now, Joker planes, he's taking over Gotham City. Batman is at his lowest point. He lost Catwoman because Catwoman got shot and then she fled. She pretty much escaped the Joker and now she's with Penguin and Riddler. Then, worst of all, Batman does not have the Bat family. The Bat family is gone at the moment. And Batman's lost his father figure. In the previous event, Sea of Bane, written by Tom King, what happened was Bane snapped Alfred's neck. So Batman lost that one father figure that was keeping him grounded. Because we all know that Batman lost his parents, Martha and Thomas Wayne, when he was young. But Alfred guided him, helped him to success. And with him gone, will Batman be able to still be the good hero that he needs to be? Well, the story shows that, and we see him go through that certain emotions in that character arc that pretty much he'll try to persevere through, right? And he has his greatest enemy to combat him, the Joker. Now guys, tie-ins include Nightwing, Detective Comics, and Batgirl, and other different books, but those are not going to be included in this video. I will have them in the description if you want to find out more context on certain events that happen in this story, but I'll also be including like cards in the top right corner above if you're pretty much watching. If you're just listening to it, and then you won't see it, but if you're watching this video, then at certain times you'll see pretty much a card pop up in the top right corner, which will say, hey, if you want to see what happened to Nightwing, check out this. If you want to see where Batwoman was, check out this. And that just adds more content for you guys and more context to what's going on. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I thought this story was pretty good, but I'll include my whole thoughts at the end of the video, so if you stick around till the end. This is a long video, guys. The whole point of these complete story series, this whole playlist, is that I give you guys the full story. Give you a long episode that you can just listen to and enjoy, alright? Instead of, alright, short videos. Like, I know I like short videos, but what about some of you guys who just want to listen to something like a comic book story while you're doing something? Well, this is for you guys, alright? But yeah, guys, if you're ready, let's dive into Batman, the Joker War. So, starting off this issue, we got dope cover, guys. The cover looks really cool. We got Joker War Part 1. You see Joker inside the Batcave, and he's like, hey, Bats, wait, think pretty much what I've done with the place. And it's pretty much show that Joker is taking everything that Batman has. So, yeah, Batman usually has gadgets to pretty much fight against Joker. Joker has his unpredictability and his insanity, but now he has that and Batman's gadgets. So now Batman just has his suit in a way and some other stuff, but even Joker is taking over that too, like pretty much his secret hideouts, which we find on this issue. This issue starts out, guys, first page, we got Batman. It's actually a couple years ago, which I was surprised by considering what this part of the storyline is about. And it's the first confrontation between Batman and the Joker. Batman's pretty much driving, and he's been on this case about the Joker, this new figure in Gotham that has killed 24 people at this chemical plant, and it's pretty much making them get infected by laughing gas, and it's killing them. Like, you see smiles, people just dead, and Batman's just been not sleeping. He has to stop this guy. And Alfred's in his corner. He's like, hey, you've not been sleeping, and I need to help you out. Tell me what's on your mind. And Batman's like, the Joker, he's not just no normal villain. Like, he's actually unpredictable, and he pretty much sees the world dead. He sees everybody dead. They're eventually gonna die, but he's just helping them along the way. But Joker sees Batman as the only person who's actually alive. Somebody as pretty much a nemesis. And Joker pretty much gonna take him down. He knows he's gonna lose though, but he's pretty much testing Batman's limits. And Batman's like, I don't even know if I can beat him. Like, I don't even know if this will be the only encounter between us. And we know, as Batman fans, that this is not the only encounter between Batman and the Joker. They become longtime rivals, alright? Over 8 years. Over 8 years, alright? It's been over 8 years since the very first appearance of both Batman and the Joker. But still, we have this going on. Alfred asks him, like, hey, you can fight this whole war with this person, Joker and stuff, but at least you got me by your side. I'll always stay on your side to help you through fight out against the Joker. Batman pretty much smiles. He's like, alright, I'm going through all this bad stuff about the Joker, this pretty much psychopath, but at least I got Alfred in my corner. But then we shift to the present day, and as you know, Alfred's dead. Alfred's no longer in his corner. Batman's alone, so how is he going to deal with this? We see Batman and guys, by the way, I forgot to mention, in the past, he actually, that whole sequence ended with him arriving at this viaduct, which is pretty much like a bridge that has arches on the side. It's a place to go through, right? And we go to the present, that's where he arrives at now. Now, he blasts through it, and when he's going through, right, and you see his clowns, there's people who work for the Joker and Punchline, they pretty much blow up the Batmobile, and they're like, hey, you don't run this city anymore, Joker does. And you see Batman there, and he gets away. In Batman fashion, gets away easy, and the clowns pretty much call Punchline. Now, before we get to Punchline's call, what we also see is throughout Gotham City, all these different news reports are reporting that Wayne Enterprise has been taken over by the Joker. Lawyers are now questioning Bruce Wayne about how he's been pretty much giving illegal weapons to Batman in his fight against crime. Now, they don't know that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person. It's a big deal. Like, they should be able to connect all this. But still, we have that, and they're saying that, oh, all those weapons are going to go back to the Wayne Enterprises, which, therefore, it goes back to Joker, because Joker is now taking over Wayne Enterprises, and anybody that goes against him and is pretty much talked with by the Underbroker, aka pretty much Mr. Graves. Now, Mr. Graves is pretty much dealing with all these lawyers and dealing with pretty much the dirty work of Joker. Well, not the dirty work, but just kind of like the little stuff in Joker's plan, while Joker does the big stuff. And we got Punchline on the side. Now, Punchline got a call from those clowns, and the clowns told her, like, hey, Batman got away. Punchline's like, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get him soon. But we go to this other hideout, and we see her and Luke Fox. Now, she asks Luke Fox, hey, Joker always pretty much gives names to his place, his hideouts. What is this place called? And pretty much Luke Fox is like, I'm not gonna help you out. And you see him laughing, like he's in pain, and he's just stuttering, I'm not gonna help you out. And he's saying that, right? And Punchline said, no, just let the toxin work. Tell me. And Luke Fox tells her that this place is called the Curriculum, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but that's pretty much a refuge for bats. And it makes sense. It's a place that Batman goes to pretty much hide out. But Punchline is like, alright, so where's the Joker, though? Where would you be if you just got $1 billion? You'd be shopping. And we shift to this place called Park Row. And Joker's meeting up with this guy. He's a blind guy, by the way, so he doesn't know what the Joker looks like. He's a psychopath. He doesn't know that. He just thinks he's a regular billionaire in a way, right? But it's Park Row, and this guy is speaking to him, right? And he's pretty much, Joker's following him to this place inside this movie theater. It's actually the movie theater by Crime Alley. And Park Row used to be Crime Alley, and this guy's telling Joker that this used to be Crime Alley. If you went down here, you knew you were getting into trouble, and this place was actually a movie theater that people see movies. There's actually a father that would take his son here all the time to see movies. But one day, pretty much in Crime Alley, the father and the mother got shot, and the son pretty much got away. We don't know what happened with him. Like, he pretty much was in pain. It's a big story, but this guy's like, I don't even remember it. I've been just here all along, and I can't even remember this whole story, really. He's like, I just remember hearing. I just remember hearing the gunshots. And he's saying this, and Joker's like, I get what you're saying. You can't remember your past because you've been in this so long. And the Joker says, I can't remember the first time I met one of my big friends. And we know who he's talking about. It's Batman. It's not one of his friends. But how he refers to it is actually pretty funny. But still, he refers to Batman as like a friend that, oh, we were encountering each other way back. And I can't remember that first encounter. It's a big deal. And Joker's talking to this guy. This guy leads him into a room. It's a place with all movies, pretty much pieces. And these pieces have like names on them of movies you put into the player and plays the movie, right? But Joker's looking for a certain one. It's the Mark of Zorro. And that's actually the movie that Bruce saw the night of his freaking parents' murder. So that's a big deal. But we see that, and this guy's telling him that, hey, there's actually this one, the kid, the pretty much child of his parents who died, Bruce Wayne, would actually come here to this place once in a while to pretty much give offers. But they weren't great, but yours is great. Joker's offer of giving all his money to buy this place is a great offer. This guy's like, hey, but why would you give so much money to buy this place? Nobody wants to see these movies anymore. They see it 100 times. And Joker's like, well, it's not really about the movie. It's that they pretty much gonna find out about something about this whole movie that they never even knew about, this whole mythology. And that's pretty much what he's saying. And pretty much what James Tully is saying to the reader is that, hey, you know the Joker and Batman rivalry and their whole history. But in this story, you're gonna find out about something that was missing. Something in that mythology that you didn't know about, which I'm pretty excited about, right? That's pretty cool. But we see that, and this guy's like, yeah, I hear there's laughing. There's people down there in the movie theater. And Joey's like, oh yeah, we should join them. It's actually a show. And the guy's like, what show? And Joey's like, hey, you should get some seats. Like, actually find some seats we could sit in and pretty much hang with my friends. And the guy's like, wait, those people are laughing downstairs, laughing really weird, they're actually your friends. And Joey's like, yeah, and we can actually join them. You could join them and the rest of them. And this guy's like, the rest of who? And he's like, the rest of Gotham. You see this entire movie theater of all these people just laughing, gasping. Dead. They're dead, and that's what Joey's planning to do. Kill all these people in Gotham and send them here. And that's big. I'm pretty sure that one guy died, which is pretty sad. He's a blind guy, doesn't know what he's doing. But still, we shift now to pretty much the Underbroker. And he's talking to GCPD and Harvey Bullock. And guys, as you know, Harvey Bullock is the new commissioner, which pretty much Commissioner Gordon going with the Battle Who Laughs. That's a whole different story. But Bullock is now the new commissioner, and he has his cops behind him. And the Underbroker comes to him saying, hey, stop harassing Wayne Enterprises. Stop harassing Joker and trying to pretty much stop us. And Harvey Bullock is like, no. Joker's a maniac, he's a killer, he's a piece of garbage. I would never pretty much help him out. And the Underbroker's like, you don't get it. Joker's the one that gave you all these weapons, all this new suits, all this new stuff for the police department. You need to help him out. And Harvey's like, no, I'm not helping him out. Bruce Wayne gave that. And all his cops behind him are like, I get what you're saying, Harvey, we're on your side, but we lost this one. And the Underbroker's like, you better do that or Joker's gonna come for you. He's pretty much telling him that, hey, you better help us out and stay on our side, or we'll take you down. And pretty much the Underbroker then leaves, and you actually see all these cop cars, and it turns out Batman is actually in one of them. Which is actually pretty cool, I like that. I like that Batman is actually in one of them, is pretty much spying on all this. Now, the Underbroker, then what he does is pretty much, you see him right at Wayne Enterprises, he tells like pretty much the guy driving the limo just staying there like, hey, stay there. Don't leave because we actually gotta go visit the mayor so to see if he doesn't have cold feet. Showing that pretty much Joker has control of all of Gotham. He's pretty much just like threatening them, and pretty much Underbroker's checking up on him. So Underbroker's working for Joker and Punchline. They're pretty much like the big ones. There's actually another character that's coming up in future issues called the Clown Hunter that James Tennant has actually been pretty much referencing. Now I'm actually pretty excited about. But yeah, he gets in there and he's talking to the clowns, most people working for Joker, and they're telling him that, hey, Underbroker, so pretty much all these different people working for Wayne Enterprises don't really want to help out. Like, they actually don't want to work for the Joker. And Underbroker's like, that's what you have guns for. You shoot them, you replace them. And he's like, hey, the Joker wants a new thing. He wants to buy all the different theaters, movie theaters in all of Gotham, buy art places, revive houses, do all this different stuff. And he's like, the cost pretty much has to be at a minimum. Like, yeah, we have a lot of money, but we don't gotta spend so much. Now, Batman is pretty much listening on this. He showed up. You see Batman's an awesome page, guys. You see Batman is pretty much watching the window, and actually there's a clown that pretty much looks like up. He looks up, and you think that he's gonna see Batman, but Batman's just gone. It's just a great, I love how George Jimenez pretty much like makes these panels. It's great. And you see in the next page that he actually looks through and he has like this tech that actually reminds me from Batman the Arkham Knight, the whole like third pretty much game in the Batman Arkham trilogy of games. And in that you have like a pretty much, as like a player playing the game, you are able to pretty much go into like the scan mode where you can see pretty much through walls where people were. And that's what Batman does here. And it looks exactly like it. George Jimenez draws it great. You pretty much see Batman looking through this place. It's in all green and it's pretty much showing all different people in Wayne Enterprise. All the people he has to stop, right? He's like, you know what, I'm not gonna go in there. Instead, we go into the secret passage into Wayne Enterprise. It has like a bat logo, right? He gets in there, he thinks it's all good, but it turns out Punchline is there. Batman's like, oh, I gotta find the Joker. And Punchline's like, unfortunately, he's not open right now. She goes to stab him, and Batman's like, what are you doing here? How'd you find out about this? And she's like, well, Luke Fox actually told him about your micro caves. And she's like, I pretty much put toxin in him, pretty much threatened him, and Luke Fox pretty much gave it all away. And Batman's like, oh, it's fine, Luke Fox, don't worry, I'll take her down. And they start fighting a little bit, and she's like, I actually like this cave the best out of all these different micro caves. Like, Batman actually pretty much has all these different micro caves all over Gotham in case of all these different pretty much events that happen in Gotham. Like, there's always different chaos going down. But Punchline is like, this actually micro cave is something you need to know about. It's actually be developed and it has new weapons. And it turns out Punchline actually reveals a new suit that Luke Fox, well, actually Luke Fox didn't make, it was actually there. And it looks cool. It's a blue suit. It's a big Batman suit. It actually looks really dope. And Batman's like, what? Well, what's this doing here? I have to use it. Punchline's like, well, too bad you won't be able to use it. And Batman starts feeling like kind of drowsy. He's like, what's going on? Punchline's like, oh yeah, that's right. I pretty much released a toxin in this room that I've actually gained immunity to over the past year. So Punchline's alright, but Batman is pretty much getting poisoned by its poison, fear toxin, and Venom all in one. And he starts having hallucinations. You see it pretty much, it's a crazy image, looks great. You see pretty much having hallucinations, but Punchline's in the background just laughing. And she's like, oh yeah, we're taking everything away from you. You're gonna pretty much die, Joker's gonna win. And you see Batman, he's like, I gotta get out of here. He starts running, he's running through the window, and he hears Alfred. Alfred's like, don't, you're going backwards, Bruce. You're going in the wrong direction. Bruce is like, you're dead, Alfred. Well, why are you talking to me? And Alfred's like, I'm sorry, my boy, but we're all dead. And you see this whole freaking bat ship, pretty much this bat plane, come by, and pretty much it shows that Joker's taking all of his weapons and it starts shooting. And it ends with the final panel that Batman was actually at that window and gets shot with a big blast by this pretty much bat plane. We see this utopia, which is Gotham. Everything's going well, and you hear Batman talking to Alfred, like Alfred's alive. We know something's fishy here, and it doesn't seem right. Now, Batman's saying, okay, clear the block, we have pretty much our scanners on this one thing that's going away, and we'll go stop this villain. Now, we don't know what villain Batman's stopping, but we find out that in the whole target zone that this villain is going to, there's this kid. And this kid's walking and gets this bat signal on his phone that's pretty much telling him, hey, get away before you get hurt, because Batman doesn't want anybody else to die in the city, Gotham, ever again. It's pretty much almost a utopia. And this kid's like, wait, I have a bat signal on my phone. That only means, and you see the Mr. Freeze, this Mr. Freeze bus just go by, or this pretty much like van. So that means Mr. Freeze is the villain that Batman's going after. But most importantly, this kid gets so excited. This kid's like, wait, no way. And he sees Batman on he's in his new suit, by the way. He's in the new blue suit that was introduced last issue. And he's on this motorcycle. It looks really dope, guys. It looks pretty cool. You see him going after Mr. Freeze, and you see Mr. Freeze get out, and he actually has two sons, which is Ice Pop, I think it's Ice Pop, and Snow Cone, right? Yeah, not the best names. Still, you have these two kids of Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze is like, I'm not leaving, Batman. Batman's like, I know you can hear Mr. Freeze, but let's just surrender now so nobody gets hurt. Now, Mr. Freeze is like, no, you made this utopia. Me and my boys pretty much remember when it was just Gotham. It was gritty. It wasn't a utopia, and we're going to bring it back to that age. And these different kids are like, wait, can I experiment a little bit? I want to see how much I can freeze Batman and kill him. And Mr. Freeze is like, don't worry, I made these new guns that can freeze and kill pretty much almost immediately. Now they shoot at Batman, Batman comes by and freezes him totally, right? Freezes the motorcycle, freezes him. But that's when Alfred's like, don't worry, Master Bruce, you have a thing pretty much heating up this ice right now. You'll be out in 3, 2, 1. Batman jumps out, and what he does, he has these heater rings. Yeah, heater rings. And all it is pretty much, it's batarangs that can counter-react, like Mr. Freeze's, like, all his, like, ice, right? It melts it, because it's heater rings. You know what I mean. But still, you have Batman, he jumps out, he throws the heater rings, it hits, Mr. Freeze's two boys, they're knocked out, and Mr. Freeze says, boys, and Batman's like, and they'll be alright, your boys will be alright, and you will too, just surrender now. Now, they beat Mr. Freeze, and we see Batman make it back to the Batcave with Alfred, and Alfred's like, wow, it's a record. This is the first time you went against a villain in months. It's a big deal. And Batman's like, yeah, it's a utopia now. It's going so well. And now Alfred's like, I hope there's no problem with Miss Kyle. So it turns out Catwoman and Selina and Bruce are actually married, which is a big deal, right? Like, we've been wanting that to happen for a while, but we keep getting faked out. Us DC fans, right? But still, we have that, and Bruce is like, yeah, shoot, kill me. Pretty much supposed to go to Tokyo. And that's when Bruce is like, yeah, I'm going to actually have Barbara, Leslie Thompson, search into this whole Mr. Freeze thing, how he got, like, the freeze rays, and how he pretty much came back as a villain. Because they don't want any villains in Gotham City. They want to just be a utopia, you know? And that's when he's talking to Alfred, they're going down to this place, and they're talking about different people like Timothy, Tim Drake, Connor Kent, different stuff, and Bruce is all happy, because Alfred's like, wow, look at you, a little Gotham. He's like, yeah, it's not really little when you're like right around it so fast in this motorcycle. But that's when Alfred has a grim look. You're like, oh man, I knew this stuff was fishy. I knew this world was fishy. It was an alternate world, or just in Batman's mind, because this is when it gets crazy. That's when Alfred says, wow, it's so hilarious to see all these words come in your mouth, to see you so happy, even though you could be alone, even though you have no family, no love, and you're gonna die. And that's when we see Alfred. He gets up, and you see like this quick switch, and you see him just broken neck in the air. Guys, George Demez's art is amazing here. And by the way, James Tynion's writing this issue is really well done, especially this opening, like this intro to the issue. I really like it. But especially this page. The writing's good and the art is top notch. You see pretty much an Alfred with a broken neck just going by Bruce, and then it starts, you see the broken neck and actually the head, it starts smiling like the Joker. Bruce was like, no! It's creepy, guys. Do you see Alfred just broken neck smiling like the Joker? It's crazy. It's crazy sequence, and I love it, alright? Like, it's really good. George Demez is the only one that can pull off this. I know other artists could probably do it. This is the best way to do it. Now, we shift, and Batman actually wakes up. He survived the whole blast from last issue. And we have Harley Quinn. Yes, Harley Quinn survived, like, pretty much getting her neck slit by Punchline issue number 93 of Batman. Now, what we see here is Harley's like, wow, you're awake, that's good. We need to save Gotham. And Batman's like, oh, wait, how'd you survive? She's like, yeah, knife line, that's what she calls her, not Punchline. Pretty much slit my throat, but I got bandaged up. I got fixed, right? And she asks, wait, where's Catwoman? And Batman's like, well, she's gone, but wait, how long have I been asleep? And Harley's like, 3 days. And Batman's like, wait, what's been going on? Harley's like, well, everybody knows what's going on. Joker is taking over the city. And that's when we see this whole page, what's happening. And what we see is Joker's taking over the city. It's all like pretty much crime in Gotham. Everything's not going so well, right? And we have Joker giving Joker planes, Joker mobiles, Joker everything. Just with money backed up by Wayne Enterprises. Like, he has $1 billion. He can do anything. And that's when we see that the cops are not doing so good because Underbroker is pretty much making the city go out of control. So citizens have to defend for themselves. And we see this family just sitting quietly as this clown comes into their house. And he's gonna kill them, right? But that's when we see the Clown Hunter. The very first appearance of the Clown Hunter, this new hero. Actually, not hero. Anti-hero, or this new character in the Joker War. Comes up, gets an axe, kills this clown, takes him out, and this family asks him, son, are you okay? He's like, no, I'm far from okay. But I'll probably feel better once I keep taking down clowns. So that's all he's doing, which I'm surprised. I actually thought the Clown Hunter would be another villain, working with the Joker. It turns out he's actually just a regular citizen in Gotham. Well, not regular, but still, he's not working with the Joker. He's on his own. He's on his own mission. And we're going to find out more about the Clown Hunter in Joker Warzone #1, which will be coming out in September, and I will be covering on this channel, so stay tuned. But guys, we go back to Batman and Harley, and what we see is Batman asks Harley what's going on, and she's like, well, it turns out the Punchline of what she diagnosed you with, the pretty much the stuff to make him go crazy, is actually, they're trying to make that bigger. They actually bought Ace Chemicals, and they're working on something, and that's what Punchline's lead. Now, the Underbroker is just controlling the police, controlling lawyers. He's controlling pretty much everything, so Joker can just, like, do whatever he wants, right? Like, that Underbroker is covering the legal side of it, or the illegal side. But that's when Harley's like, wait, there's actually been, like, an advertisement going out that Joker's been releasing, and in a way, it tells his plans in like a coded way. You know it's not going well. And that's when Harley shows Batman this advertisement, and you see the one guy from last issue who's talking to Joker when Joker bought the Monarch Theater, you know, the theater that Bruce left with his parents before his parents died. And you see this guy, he's strapped up, and he has a Z across his face. He's like, he's doing an advertisement. He's very afraid, but he's just doing it for the Joker, right? And he's reading it off this paper. He's like, come see the thrilling, pretty much adventure with romance, all these different stuff. It's an awesome movie that, pretty much the Mark of Zorro, that's the movie, but only 3 people have seen the ending. You could see the ending today. And he's like, it's gonna be, all these different screenings at the Monarch Theater of the Mark of Zorro have been sold out, but we'll actually let you get in and watch this movie. It's such a great movie that we'll actually pay you $10,000. $10,000 for everybody who comes to see this movie. And he's like, don't miss out on this, come over. And that's when he's like, wait, no. And on the paper it says, alright, pretty much on the paper it says the final like shot, and that's when Joker just shoots the guy in the head. So that guy's dead, and poor him. I feel bad for him. He had to read all that stuff, pretty much acting character and not look like he's scared, and then just gets killed. But this is a walking trap. Like, you walk into the Monarch Theater, you're, like, expecting to die. Like, I would not take that advertisement seriously. Well, I would take it seriously, but I would go by and be like, oh, wow, there's a new movie called The Mark of Zorro. I better check it out. No, I'm not checking that out if I'm a citizen of Gotham. Now, what we see next is Batman's like, Monarch Theater? wait, and he starts remembering that that was the same theater that he was with his parents the night of his parents' murder. Now we see him, it's young Bruce, he's with his parents, they're laughing, they're getting out of Monarch Theater. Batman's remembering this. It's actually an awesome page drawn by George Jimenez. That's when Batman, you see him with, well, not Batman, but Bruce with his parents in Crime Alley, and then their necks are broken and have Joker faces, just like Alfred was in the beginning of this issue. It's crazy, guys. And Batman's going crazy, and Harley's like, knock it off. Gotham needs you to pretty much get your shit together, or we're all gonna die. And that's what Batman's like, no, I gotta get out of here. He starts hearing Alfred again, and Alfred's like, oh, Harley's gonna attack you, take her down, and go to Monarch Theater to take down the Joker. And Batman's like, where are we now? That we're actually at Park Row, that's what Alfred says. And Batman's like, wow, that's actually not that far. We can take down the Joker. And Harley's like, I'm not here to hurt you, like, I can actually help out. And Batman's like, no, he takes down Harley, punches her away, and Batman jumps out the window going off on his own. Harley's like, no, you have to pretty much come sane again, stop being crazy so we can save Gotham. But that's it for Harley for this issue. We then shift to Batman going on this one-man mission, and we see him take down some clowns, pretty much patrolling the city. He's like, wow, it's really worse around here. Like, everything's not going well. Like, Gotham is usually a bad place, but it's even worse now with all these clowns just running around killing people. That's when Batman makes it to Monarch Theater, and before he actually goes down there, though, he's on, like, this gargoyle, and he's hearing Alfred, and Alfred's like, hey, I'm actually true, what's going on? Like, I'm not just a voice in your head, I'm real, and Batman's like, no, you're not real, I'll deal with that soon, but he's like, I feel like I'm having a psychotic break, and that's when I was like, no, you're not, and Batman's like, no, I am, I'm cutting you off, I'm just going on my mission. And that's when Batman swings down to Monarch Theater, and we see him get in, and he's like, I don't know if it's a hallucination, or is that Joker has actually built this place from the ground up again with all that money that he stole from me. So Monarch Theater looks like it's brand new. Like, it looks pretty sweet, I'll say that. But you see Batman, he's like, this is crazy. He's like, I gotta figure out what's going on. And he opens these doors, alright? And he sees a whole audience in this theater just dead, Jokerized, laughing, pretty much smiles, right? And he asks Alfred, hey, read vitals. And the only vitals that are pretty much the only people who are alive in this room is Batman. So it's a big deal, and Batman's like, why would Joker kill these people? And actually, these people look like they're actually dead people from a long time ago, like just rotting corpse. Why would he bring them back up? And Joker's like, well, they actually are a rotting corpse, to pretty much confirm that. And it's like, the reason I'm doing this because these are people, all the people I killed over the years that you couldn't save. And these are criminals, citizens. So I got an army of Gotham citizens and Joe Chills. I got an army of people who you couldn't save, Batman, from me, from all my madness. And Joker's like, well, they actually have a problem with you, Batman, because you couldn't save them. And that's when these Jokerized people get up and they start laughing. You see Batman, he's freaked out. On the final page of this issue, you see a whole army of different Jokerized people in this theater going to attack Batman. In the background, you got Joker just laughing. Punchline. And she asks, is this everything? Is this every canister that I've asked for? And she's actually at the Tri-Corner Yards, which is like pretty much like a shipment place. And we see the underbroker, he's like, yes, I checked the manifest. Personally, they're all ours. Totally legitimate. And that's when Punchline's like, it's only been a day. And that's when underbroker's like, we outbid the supply ships en route to other nearby ports. In one case, I made the call to buy the shipment outright. And Punchline's like, I love being rich. Which, yeah, I would love being rich too. Like, come on. That quick, you could just buy the whole shipment. It just shows how much money Joker, Underbroker, and Punchline have, right? But these different clowns are loading these shipments, right? And Punchline's like, boys, when these are loaded up, you're going to be making the trip directly to Ace Chemicals. She's like, the boss wants the new formula of cooking by the end of the day. And that's when the clown's like, is this it? No security? And that's when Punchline's like, you're the security. And that's when the clown's like, I just mean the guys have been talking. We gotta pass through the Narrows to get to Ace. Clowns do so well through Narrows. They've been dying. And that's when Punchline jumps through. She's like, talk faster. Make me care. And that's when this clown says, sorry, 12 clowns dead in the Narrows yesterday. And Punchline's like, bats don't kill. And that's when the clown's like, this wasn't a bat. This was something else. Something weirder. And that's when we see yesterday in the Narrows, these two clowns in this Batmobile, and they got stopped, or like this Joker-mobile, they got stopped by this certain person who's the clown hunter. And these clowns are like, I'm hitting the accelerator, Reggie. It's not doing a damn thing. And the clown hunter's like, hi. So those controls don't work too good, huh? He's like, wasn't sure if I could short circuit one of your fancy cars, but it looks like I just need a transformer and a fire hydrant. And that's when the clown's like, this used to be a Batmobile. You're not breaking in, kid. That's when the clown hunter is like, oh, I don't really care to break in. Gonna be hot in there. He's pretty much saying it's gonna be burning up in there. And then he says, I got this, my anti-clown toxin here. I buy it down at the gas station. And then they see gasoline. And the clown's like, is this gasoline? And like, oh crap. And that's when we see that this whole thing blows up, guys. This whole entire thing just blows up. And we see fire, these clowns just die inside, and the clown hunter says, I'm clown hunter. Sorry, that sucks for you, I know. And that's what Punchline's like, if you're scared of the Narrows, go around the Narrows. But I want you to keep this in mind. This right here, this is the key to Joker's big plan for Gotham City. It's going to help make a whole new blend of his old toxin. She continues and says, and you need to decide right now who you're really afraid of. Some kid or the guy who's about to kill Batman. And guys, we continue, and what we see next is Batman actually fighting off against these different, pretty much Joker toxic dead people, right? And we see Joker just monologue as Batman's fighting these Joker toxic people, and Joker say, you've never been one to look failure in the face, have you, Bats? Well, here it is ready to tear you to pieces. Some of these bags of bones have been rotting in the dirt for years. Some are much fresher. Which, do you think are angrier? The ones who were there at the beginning, when I was a very different sort of clown. Back when you underestimated how many casualties there be. And he continues, he says, or is it the recent dead, the ones who died with the knowing that the longer I stayed alive, the more of them would go the way of the Reaper. And what Joker is pretty much saying here is that, wait, so which one's more mad at you, Batman? The ones that died when you underestimated me, or the ones that died when you know you had to kill me? Batman always has this no-kill rule, and he never kills the Joker. But it causes more people to die at the Joker's hands. So it's a dilemma, right? But what we see is these Joker toxic people start attacking Batman, and Joker continues. He's like, I guess it doesn't matter. They're all angry. They're all disappointed. They all want you dead. And he says to Batman, and he's like, now, me, I think they're a little impatient, if I was being honest. I think it'd be better if things go according to my plan. Killing you is easy. It won't hurt you enough. But making everyone in Gotham City relive your childhood trauma, that would be the best. And he starts laughing. He's like, picture it, Bats. They're all going to come to watch my special cut of Zorro. They won't be able to stop themselves. I'm offering too much money. And continues, he's like, they'll feel just like you did that night in the theater. All the drama and romance of Power, the old legend. And at the end of it, I'll reveal the truth. That years ago, little Bruce Wayne was just like them. Then the Batman came with a gun, and surviving that made him into Batman. And I'll ask them what I'll turn them into before the gas starts filing into the theaters. And then Alfred says to Batman through the comms, which we know this is a voice in Batman's head. He's like, don't listen to him, Master Bruce, keep your focus. And Batman's like, I'm trying, Alfred. Punchline's toxin is still too strong. It's twisting reality around me. And Batman continues, he's like, what I'm seeing is impossible. And Alfred's like, just listen to the sound of my voice. Keep yourself grounded. And Batman's like, you're not real. And Alfred's like, I beg your pardon. And that's what Batman's like, I'm losing my grip. Hearing his voice is twisting my mind. I need him to shut up. And Joker continues, he's like, he starts laughing. He's like, I'm not exactly the shutting up type, Batman. I'm the voice of God, the great Oz, shouting down from the big screen, shouting my way into your brain, just like I'll do the rest of them. And Joker keeps talking so long, guys. Like, he has a big monologue, and you see these Joker people just surround Batman to start taking him over. That's what Batman throws, like a batarang that's kind of like a grenade. It's about to go off, and the timer hits 0, and that's when we see the whole place just blow up. And we see a big double page spread by George Jimenez, and we see all these Joker people just get exploded out of the Monarch Theater, and Batman's like, shut up. He's just saying to Joker, shut up, I'm getting out of here. And he says, the toxin is too much. I can't keep going through looking through my eyes. So what Batman does is he pretty much blindfolds himself. He makes himself blind, so now he's blind as a bat, fighting off against all these Joker toxic people. And that's when we see he gets out, he's like, a good bat knows how to fight blind. And he looks dope, guys. He looks really cool. And he's this awesome scene. Batman just starts punching them back and forth. He starts beating them to the ground. Alfred's like, sir, they're relentless. You can't survive this for long. And that's when we see Batman, and he's like, I don't need to. I just need to move to the center of the battlefield. Enough so, these nanobot monstrosities are in the range of the portable imp. And that's when Alfred's like, but sir, they'll short-circuit your radio. You'll lose me. And Batman's like, I know, Alfred, but there's no choice. And then we see this big sonic wave go out and take all these Joker, this whole Joker army down. And Batman's like, okay, stay on your feet. I gotta get to safety. Now, guys, I'm just gonna say, this part was so awesome, alright? George Jimenez's art looked amazing. The whole part when Batman goes out, blindfolds himself, that's just classic Batman. That's just what he would do. And it's just so cool seeing a blindfolded Batman take down this whole Joker army. I did think that the monologue by the Joker was a little long-winded, like, come on, that was a little slog to read, but it had a good finish with Batman saying, shut up. I was like, man, Batman, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. Like, really, I was about to say, Joker, can you just shut up? Like, come on, you're talking way too much. But Batman pretty much shut him up, took down this Joker army, and now he's going out to do different things. Now, we shift in the story to Joker at the top of Wayne Enterprises at this pool. And we see Punchline come out to the pool, and Joker's like, you know, I never thought I'd have a taste for the finer things. I was a dirty little street clown. If I saw an unturned nose, I just wanted to stick a knife in. But the highlight grows on you like some kind of horrible golden fungus. And Joker says, it's beautiful, isn't it, Punchline? He's like, from up here, the people look like little fleas swarming over the rotting carcass of Gotham. Or here it gas them out. And Punchline says, but Batman's still out there. And that's what Joker says. He's like, this is how it goes, my sweet. I make my move, he makes his. It happens in turns. He's too hopped up on that delightful toxin of yours to make a play right now. Now we get a quiet beat where we can savor the anarchy in the streets. And he's like smiling, right? He's happy about it. And Punchline's like, I'm not sure what there is to savor. There's something happening in the Narrow. Some teenager keeps killing our clowns. One of our men burned half to death. Told me and the kid's calling himself the Clown Hunter. He just took out one of our trucks en route to Ace Chemical. And Joker's like, wow, that's just wonderful. And Punchline's like, wonderful? She's confused, right? And that's what Joker's like, the vigilantes of Gotham, they don't kill all his little bats and birds. That's one of the rules of the city. Whenever one of the little ones gets a stupid idea to put on masks, they follow his rules, his symbol. He continues, and he's like, this beautiful, horrible kid knows that the rulebook has been thrown out. And Punchline's so you want to let him keep killing our people? And Joker's like, no, send some of our heavy hitters to crucify him on the streets. So let the city know we won't tolerate that kind of thing. But it's a good sign. And then I think it's time to douse my former flame. Which he's talking about Harley Quinn, right? And Punchline's like, it's about time. And Joker's like, if you're out to kill Harley Quinn, there's only one way to get out under her skin. It's straight to the heart. And guys, I like to see it because one, Joker is saying that with pretty much Joker taking over the streets, with all these clowns taking over, he's saying that there's no more bats, there's no more birds. The whole rulebook of no killing has been thrown out the door. And that's where the Clown Hunter comes in play. Pretty much these citizens turning into anarchists, well, not anarchists, but people who have to kill to take down this anarchy. So it's shifting the whole play in Gotham City. But also, this ignites the whole rivalry between Harley Quinn and Punchline once again. Now, we see Harley Quinn, and she's actually in this one forest, right? And you see her, and she's actually above Batman. Batman wakes up, he's like, Ace, is that you? And it's like pretty much a broken Ace. Like, it doesn't look like Ace the Bat Hound at all, but it's just Harley pretty much like puppeteering, right? And she says, sorry, Bats, we gotta stop being like this. People will say we're in love. And Batman's like, where the hell did you take me, Harley? And Harley's like, Eden. That's what Pammy called it. And that's a poison ivy, obviously. But we see Batman, he's like, is this in Gotham? And Harley's like, oh, come on, Bats. You know a lot about the city, but you don't know everything. There are lots of weird, wild little corners where us loonies go in between our big crimes. She's like, she built this paradise for me in a cave system under the park after a rough time with Mr. J. And what actually happened with this was that Harley, she had a rough time, she was poisoned by Mr. J, and she would go here so Poison Ivy can help her out and pretty much set her mind straight. Like, no, that guy does not care for you. You know the whole thing when Poison Ivy helps out Harley Quinn and tells her, oh, Mr. J is not the right guy. They spend time together, but then Harley goes back to Joker. This is just like one of the main places that Harley would go to pretty much get like therapy in a way. To like pretty much push away the Joker and be a Poison Ivy. Now, that's what she explains, and she then gives this cup to Batman, and she tells Batman, and she's like, I want you to drink this. And Batman's like, what is it? And she's like, it'll negate the effects of the poison that's making you go nuts and fight people blindfolded while you talk to people who aren't there. She's like, flush all those bad chemicals out of your system. And she's like, trust me, I'm a doctor. And I really like that quote. That's actually really cool. But we see, guys, Batman's like, Harley, and Harley's like, look, Bats, there's something different about all this. This isn't about the Joker. He usually makes an attack, like his priorities have shifted. And she's like, the math of it all is sideways, and you're the only one who could crack it. Like, Batman's the only one who can take down the Joker. But right now, he's crazy. He has to get his mind straight. And that's what Batman drinks the thing, and he's like, Harley, what's happening? And that's when Harley tells Batman, and she's like, nice, that means it's working. Now you'll be out for a little while. And Batman's like, out for a while? She's like, yeah, you're going to trip balls first, but I'll flush the rest of the nasty out of your system. See you in a bit. And Batman falls through this tunnel, like this whole like cave, right? He falls down, he's like, this isn't real, this isn't real. It's going even more crazy. We have Batman, and he's like, this isn't real. And he looks behind him, and somebody says, I know, my boy. And then we see Alfred, guys. We see Alfred, and Alfred's like, it's time we have a serious talk. Because how this issue opens up is we see Riddler and Scarecrow in the Iceberg Lounge, and they're just talking, right? They're playing chess. Now, Scarecrow is saying, oh, I know what you're thinking about. You think about every move that you do against the Batman, how he beats you every time. You playing chess, it's like you try and move around, trying to think that you can outwit the Batman, but he just keeps beating you. And Riddler's like, why are you trying to make this a big thing? Riddler's like, no, we're just playing chess. And Scarecrow's like, I'm playing a different game. And Riddler's like, what is that? And Scarecrow's like, I'm playing you. And that's when Riddler jumps out, pretty much Scarecrow flips the table, and they just start fighting, right? So Scarecrow got under pretty much Riddler's nerves, right? Got him mad. Now we see Penguin, he's watching this, he's like, well, that was predictable. Did anyone put any money down on how quickly Eddie would flip the board? And he's talking to Catwoman, and they're seeing these news reports, right? About Joker, pretty much the Joker war, everything that's going down, pretty much all the different crime in Gotham City, and Penguin's saying, wow, so Joker's hired some mercenaries to carry out his work. One of them is Firefly. I'll probably hire him when all this is done, because he's doing a good job. Somehow Firefly has become like a good villain. But we also see Catwoman, she's like, this is all my fault. I gave him the weapon, he needed to do this. I gave him the money to fund his war Penguin. Because guys, you remember, pretty much Catwoman moved all of Bruce's money to somewhere else, and she thought she was avoiding the Joker, but instead, she actually let the money right into Joker's bank account, so she made Joker a billionaire. Now we see Penguin, he's like, don't undersell yourself, dear. You gave him the money to win his war. And Catwoman's like, has there been any sign of him, of Batman? She's thinking like, where's Batman at? And Penguin's like, no. The Bat appears to have been taken off the board, like the Batman's gone. And Catwoman's like, come on now, Bat. Pull yourself together, the city's in pain, it's calling out to you. So guys, something that's interesting about this though, is come on, this gives me City of Bane vibes. Like, come on, like that's not the best vibes to get. Like, City of Bane was not a good storyline, but still, you have Catwoman, she's like, come on, Batman, pull yourself together. Like, didn't we just go through this? Like, Batman was just down and out, he wasn't doing good, he couldn't fight off against a big villain, but this time, instead of Bane, it's Joker. Now, this storyline is better executed than the City of Bane, but still, it feels like, okay, we're kind of going through the same thing. But good news, but unlike Tom King, James Tynion actually gets Batman back together in this issue. Like, he finally becomes Batman once again. Like, he's still Batman in this issue, but he's kind of like depressed, where he becomes actually like ready to go, get the family together by the end of this issue. We'll see how that develops. But before we go to Batman, his mind, we actually shift to Harley, right? She's in this whole garden, she's above Batman, Batman's all talky, just random stuff. She's like, man, he's really hallucinating. And she's saying, alright, where's Poison Ivy when I need her? She's like, I need somebody to talk to in this garden. And she hears somebody, and this person says, wow, you won't ever shut up. Like, I should pretty much cut deeper. And Harley's like, Poison Ivy, is that you? But turns out it's Punchline, guys. You see a splash image, it's really dope actually. Like George Mess's art, which I'll go deeper into later, but it looks really good. We see Punchline, she walks out, she's ready to fight Harley Quinn. What she says is, you thought if you brought Batman here, you could lure your old girlfriend out of hiding. That's sweet. But Harley, you really should have pickles somewhere a whole lot less flammable. So, Punchline's gonna blow the whole place up. Like, well, not blow up, but like pretty much set on fire. And what we see next, guys, is as they're fighting, we see Punchline just pretty much putting all these plants on flames. Which I'm wondering, where's Poison Ivy? Like, you think about it, guys. Like, Poison Ivy would be mad, alright? She sees Punchline just burning her whole place. Like, I think Poison Ivy would show up and kill her. But what we see, guys, is then Punchline says, oh, come on, Harley, I thought you like to have a little fun. And Harley's trying to carry Batman. She's like, dang, you're heavy. Like, I thought you were light because you pretty much jumped to rooftops. We see Harley, she's like, come on, Batman, wake up. And Punchline's like, Batman's not going to save you, you old clown. He's not saving anyone. And she says that toxin running through his system will take days of agony to clear. By then, there won't be even a city left to save. Stop hiding behind your failed hero. And Harley's like, oh, I'm not hiding behind Batman. I'm hiding behind this freaking gun. Like, she has a gun ready to go. She starts shooting at Punchline. And this battle continues. And you see pretty much Punchline, or flamethrower, gets thrown out of the way. And Harley says, you know, Punchy, I'm really starting to not like you. Like, first you cut my throat, and then you pretty much set on fire the best place, the one place in Gotham that's not screwed up. And that's what she continues to say. I don't know how Joker twists you up like this. And Punchline's like, you don't know anything. You never have. And I sure as hell don't need a flamethrower to kill you. That's when Harley's like, oh honey, I went soft on you last time. They start fighting, guys. It's a Harley Quinn and Punchline rematch, which is really cool because seeing, if you guys read pretty much the Harley Quinn number 75 backup story, that was like a Joker War tie-in, which I actually went over on this channel. It saw Harley coming back from almost dying and her being ready to go. So to see her actually go against Punchline, it's really cool again. But what we see is they keep fighting, and Punchline just starts taunting her. She's like, you think you're somebody because you had some kind of come to go moment after you lost to the Joker? Somebody's bought into their own hype. Harley's like, you don't know what you're talking about, kid. And Punch is like, of course I do. Everyone knows the pathetic story of Harley Quinn. How pretty much Harley was a psychiatrist. She was a graduate. She was doing good. Then she tried to help out criminals. She met the Joker, had sympathy for him, and then pretty much bailed him out, pretty much Arkham Asylum, and became Joker's main girlfriend, right? We see how Harley just got manipulated. Punchline says, you're too stupid to realize you're just a means to an end. And Harley says, and what the hell do you think you are? Alright, Harley's like, you're talking crap to me, but what do you think you are? And that's what Punchline says, I was in school when I saw that the world was falling apart around me, and everyone was pretending it wasn't. She says, I felt like I was going crazy until I heard him speak. It took me a year to find him out of the world, and then I actually convinced him. It took a little while. Yeah, actually, remember in the Joker 8th anniversary special, we saw Punchline kill this guy to convince Joker that, hey, I'm not playing around. Like, pretty much Punchline's like, you can trust me. I'm not playing around. I'm actually crazy. And what we've seen here is she's like, I believe in the Joker and what he stands for. I'll be at his side when he finally kills Batman. And we take this city over, and everyone else hears his message. And Harley says, you know, I feel sorry for you, kid. You still don't see that we're exactly the same. I thought Mr. J had a heart. You think he has a brain. And she continues to say, but he's not doing this for any of these reasons you think he is. He doesn't believe in anything. He's a manipulator. And then she just punches Punchline because Punchline's like, no, you're wrong. And then Harley just starts beating the crap out of her, guys. You see Punchline try to punch, Harley dodges, hits her to the ground, just gets on top of her and just starts mauling her, guys. It's actually a pretty cool fight. I feel sorry for you, Punchy, but not sorry enough to not kick your ass. She says there's nothing in this world he's ever going to care about more than the stupid bat. And Punchline punches her in the face. You're wrong, and I'll prove it. And she starts running toward Batman. She's like, I'll prove it by killing the Batman myself. Now, before we continue, that's a bad idea. Like, first off, like, if you guys remember Mad Love, when Harley actually almost killed the Batman, Joker got furious. He almost killed her because he's like, no, I kill the Batman. You don't kill the Batman. So Punchline actually carries this out. She's gonna die. Like, if she kills Batman and tells Joker, yeah, I killed him, Joker would be like, what? And he'll probably shoot her, right? And guys, I actually like what Harley said. How Harley thought Joker had a heart, where Punchline thinks he has a mind. Which is a very interesting contrast, which it shows that both of them were manipulated, and Punchline is no different than Harley Quinn. But before we continue how this fight ends, let's go into Bruce's mind. What he's thinking about. Remember, he went crazy when he took that tea, right? And he saw Alfred. Now, how this part starts out, guys, is you see Bruce, he's just making his batarangs. And Alfred says, I trust that on some level you realize how expensive computers, all the stuff that you're using to build his batarangs is going to be. And Bruce is like, hey, check this out. I can actually make more utility belts. I can make some new stuff. Bruce is just thinking kind of happy. He's like, I can make my suit all awesome. I do some cool stuff. But Alfred's like, there's part of you that still thinks it's possible, even now. And Bruce is like, Alfred. And Alfred's like, your brain is reaching into your memories to find the right kind of optimism. You want desperately to be this version of yourself. And Batman's like, I don't understand what you mean. Of course you do, Master Bruce. You have the keenest mind of any man I know. And Batman says, Harley Quinn gave me some tea. And Alfred's like, yes. And Batman's like, you're not real, you're dead. And Alfred's like, yes. And Batman's like, Alfred. And Alfred's like, but you aren't. You've been given the gift of being able to pretty much check out from a side view, pretty much like an overarching view, and to see everything that's going on. Look back on what's been going on with the Joker War and find a way to win. And he then says to Batman, now, if we're going to have some tea, let's do it properly. I go into the kitchen, Alfred's making this type of tea. Now, Alfred's like, hey, tell me what you see. And Bruce says, it's your Darjeeling blend. The one from the cupboard to the left of the pantry. You keep it in a glass jar. You would bring it to me in the cave on the cases where I was the most disturbed and frightened. You always knew when I was afraid. And Bruce is like, that helped me out. But when you were gone, when you died, I tried to make it. Bruce is like, I tried to make that same tea, but I couldn't. I couldn't make the same tea that you did. And I'd always be afraid. And that's when he's like, it's been bad, Alfred. And Alfred's like, tell me how bad it is. And Bruce is like, he's using my family's money to give up the legal system and keep his gangs in the streets, terrorizing people, killing people. He's taking the forge to the manor, Wayne Enterprises. He has Lucius Fox poisoned and manipulating him into making all these different Joker mobiles, Joker planes. He's like, he's taking the Wayne fortune, he's gonna drag Gotham City to like just destruction. It's all my fault. And Bruce is like, I'm a failure. And Alfred just keeps telling him, he's like, you saw it from the beginning. The Joker lives in a cold, dead world where you and he are the only real living beings. Alfred says he mocks your family by pretty much getting close to those who actually help him out, like Punchline. He manipulates people like Punchline to pretty much emulate the Bat family, right? How pretty much Batman has Catwoman. Well, Joker has Punchline, but he's doing that to get into Batman's face. Not because he loves Punchline, right? It also shows that Joker is always trying to do something to get to the Batman, to beat him. That's all he cares about. He cares about nothing else. Joker knows that they're opposite, that the Batman and Joker are totally opposite, and he says there's no difference to him in taking one life or a million lives, but there is to you. So it shows that Joker doesn't care about killing people, where Batman cares about just one single life dies. That's a big deal. He says to Alfred, he's like, wait, is Batman a childhood dream? And I was like, yes. It is a childhood dream, Master Bruce. Like, did you really think traveling the world, coming this Batman, would actually be real? And he says, but there's a weight to the promise you made to yourself as a boy. It would crush any other man, and it has nearly crushed you more times than I can count. And since you lost me, it's come the closest I've seen. So that promise that Bruce made to make a war on crime has really deconstructed him, made Bruce weak. And then Bruce is like, I'm sorry. And Alfred's like, no, boy, listen to me. Look at me in the eyes. You have spent too much time trying to save my life because you won't accept that I'm dead. He's like, you blame me on Damien. You blame me on Richard Grayson. You blame me on all these people, but you can't see them actually gone. You gotta move forward. And Bruce says, I'm a failure. I failed. And that's when Alfred slaps him in the face, guys. Slaps him in the face. And Alfred's like, no, damn it. This story isn't over yet. You're a Batman. You need to accept the world you live in, accept what you can control. And Bruce is like, holy shit. Like, guys, imagine you're Bruce, right? You're like, wow, what the heck's going on? Like, it's kind of, you know, it's in like a very calm voice, talking, yeah, I'm a failure, this, that. And I was like, no, boom. Slaps in the face, like, shut up, listen to me. This is pretty much like, I'm kind of surprised by this because I don't really think Alfred would do this, but it does push the plot forward a little bit, or at least the scene, right? But we continue, and Alfred says to Bruce, and he is like, you need to accept that you did not and cannot save me. You also need to accept that you cannot save your parents. He's like, but you can save yourself. Save yourself and save everyone in Gotham City. Every life you save is a victory against death, against the Joker. And Bruce is like, I don't think I can do it alone. And I was like, then don't. Find your family, find your love, find everybody that supports you, and join together and take down the Joker. And Bruce is like, if I wake up with my mind intact, I won't hear your voice anymore. Bruce is like, if I wake up, I won't have you. How will I move forward? And I was like, you have to move forward. You don't need me on the other end of the back computer to know exactly what I would say in that circumstance. So wake up, my boy. Tell the city who you are. He finally wakes up. Punchline's like, you're awake. That's not possible. The toxin in your system, Batman has no hold on me anymore. And Punchline says, but how's that possible? And Batman jumps up. He's like, cause I'm Batman. Well, he doesn't really say that. He's just like, I'm Batman. But I always think of, guys, have you watched pretty much how it should have ended where Batman's like, cause I'm Batman? That's what I always think of. But you see this actually thing, I like how George Jimenez draws it, where it's like the cape that says Batman. Like, that's pretty dope. But you see him jump, he takes down Punchline, and Harley's like, finally you're pretty much up. Because I've been getting annoyed of hearing Punchline just talk and talk. Like, you know how Punchline said at the beginning of the issue, that Harley talks too much. I think it's reverse. Like, Harley talks a lot, but Punchline talks like 2 times more. Like, she talks a lot, guys. She's trying to taunt Harley, and Harley's just like, shut up. So she's happy that Batman has finally taken down Punchline, and that's when Harley says, you got your head on straight, and Batman's like, that depends. And Harley's like, the whole place is on fire. She burned it up. And Batman's like, yes, then my head is on straight. Batman's like, okay, for a second, I thought my head wasn't on straight. There's just so much fire around me. And he says, I need to reactivate my communication system. And Harley's like, I think you fried your circuits back at the theater. And Batman's like, I don't underestimate what I can fit into this belt. And he said, I call it a battery. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is actually stupid. I didn't actually like this part, because come on, that's just dumb. A battery, like, really? That's just not good. And Harley's like, really? Like, she has the same reaction as me. Like, actually, she's kind of like, what the heck? But me, when I was reading this, I was like, okay, that's kind of dumb. I didn't really like how James Tynion actually wrote this part, but it's a quick part that won't ruin the issue, right? But how this issue ends, guys, is you see Batman, he calls into his communication system. He's like, call everyone, call all my family. So that means Nightwing, Batgirl, every single Bat family member will be in next issue, which is really cool, and we're finally at that part, right? But how that issue officially ends, you see Catwoman. She gets the call. She's like, I gotta get out of this iceberg lounge. And she comes to Riddler and Penguin, and she's like, hey, you're gonna help me out in taking down the Joker. And Penguin's like, why would we do that? We're safe here. Why get involved in that Joker war? And Catwoman's like, what if I told you I could make you a billionaire? Now we start in Gotham Midtown. We see the Joker, and he's just walking up to this driver, right? And this driver says, sir, it's been made to your exact specifications. And Joker says, I know, that's why I'm laughing. And he says, it's the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. I love it. Now he looks at it, guys, and it's literally like just a limo with a bunch of like signs like ha, or just like a bunch of laughing signs, a bunch of crazy signs to make this limo look like it's with the Joker, right? But then Joker gets inside, he's like, take me at Ace Chemical, go to the long way around. Now he asks this driver as they're driving through the city of Gotham, which is now just pretty much ablaze, guys. Like a bunch of like gangs going around killing people. It's crazy. Fires all over the place. And Joker says, what's your name, kid? And the driver says, Abe, sir. And Joker says, are you a lifer, Abe, Gotham stock, or are you a transplant? Now what this means is, do you actually live here? Have you lived here all your life? Or have you actually just traveled to Gotham? Now Abe says, I've lived here all my life, Mr. Joker. Now Joker then goes in this whole spill that it must be good for you, like to see all this happen, to see Gotham become what it actually needs to be, to see everybody's darker versions come out. Like he pretty much explains this really interesting philosophy that pretty much that Gotham, anybody who comes to Gotham, they're not really coming there to have a good life. Like you go to Gotham, like why would you go there? It makes no sense. You know it's one of the worst places in the world, one of the most dangerous places. So you're going there to cause trouble. And you say it's meant for people like me, him, the Joker, and other villains. Not meant for Batman or everyone else. Now he says that, yes, the casualties and all the different stuff affects a lot of people. Now, as he's driving through the city, we see the clown hunter. And he grabs a clown, and he's just killed this clown, right? He has a dope image that's drawn by Jorge Jamez. And guys, this is really cool, right? He's holding him, probably one of the best images in this book. And you see Joe just pass by. And Clown Hunter drops this clown down into the fire. Now, you see Joey more explains that pretty much Batman tries to save the city, tries to save it from what it is. And he thinks it's his city, but Joker then reveals that, no, it's my city. It's the city of people like me. He says, sometimes I think the poison that bleached my skin got into my brain, infecting me with that festering dark spirit of the city. That I'm haunted by all the ghosts of the dead, that I'm their messenger, come to remind Batman that the city does not belong to him. And he says, haha, what a nut job, but that's what this is all about. It's getting the ball rolling. It's making this all a bit more dangerous again. So he's saying that Gotham has not been dangerous in a long time. It's not been itself, but finally it's back to where it needs to be with the whole Joker war, and Batman shouldn't stop it. Because Batman should realize that this isn't his city, it's the Joker's city. Now, as we continue, guys, that's when the Joker makes the Ace Chemical, he gets out, and the driver says, sir, we're here. And Joker says, home again, home again. And then he gets a call from Punchline. He says, hello, dear. I was starting to think you were dead. And that's when she says, what's that sound? And you see Joker kill the driver, Abe, which is really messed up. And Joker says, nothing important, just clean up a mess. Now, that's when he said, how'd the meeting go? And Punchline says, poor, they got the one up on me. I thought Batman was down for the count. And she says, they left me tied up for the cops, but some of our boys got to me first. But that means he's been out there working for a few hours now. I'm sorry, I wanted to do more. And that's when the Joker goes into Ace Chemicals and just kills every single person. It's amazing, guys. Like, poor Jim Madison's artwork here where Joker's just walking through, killing people as he sees them, just clean house. Because what he's saying here is, yeah, Batman's gonna come here. I know that. I know his every single move. And I want him to come here. I don't want so many people to get in his way like my clowns. So he's just killing all these people working for him. And he's like, oh, I should put a hit on different citizens. Tell the clowns for $100 for every person they kill. And $1 million if they bring them back to me. So he's pretty much putting all these hits on the Batman, but most importantly, innocent citizens. That's pretty messed up, guys. But seeing the Joker just walk through and be like, no, it's all good. Punchline's like, you sure about that? Like, he's out there playing right now. Joker's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm playing for us to meet again. Joker and the Batman. Now, as we continue, guys, that's when we see Batman. He's on a rooftop. And he says, he knows me. He knows this will be my next move. He's forced my hand. He wants me too afraid to put you in the field. But he's made it so there's no other choice. And you see on the rooftop, the whole Bat family. You see Red Hood, Dick Grayson, Signal, Orphan, Harley Quinn. Yeah, Harley Quinn is a part of the Bat family now. Also, spoiler, Red Robin, Batgirl. Now, Batman says, I should have brought you in from the beginning. The last year has been hard, but I think I'm seeing clearly for the first time in a long time. I'm sorry. I haven't been better. I have to be. I will be. And he says, but right now our city's in chaos. Joker's using everything I built to lay the city to waste. And it's only going to get worse from here. Now he says that, hey, don't worry about Lucius Fox. He's been rescued by me and Batwoman. Which, guys, if you haven't seen that video that I released, I'll actually link it down below. It's Techniconomy 1025, where Batman and Batwoman team up to save Lucius Fox, right? So that's already been covered. But he also says, Batman continues, and he's like, but we barely scratched the surface of what needs to be done. Right now, theaters are filling all over Gotham. Joker is going to play the people of our city a movie, and then he's going to kill them. I need to stop it and stop the violence happening in the streets. And he says, it's a lot to ask, but I know I can trust you. Take back our city. And then Dick Grayson says, where will you go, Batman? And Batman says, Joker's at Ace Chemical. I'll go to him there. I'll put an end to this. And then Harley says, and I'm going with you so I can kill the Joker. And Red Hood says, wait, what? And Batman says, that's not what's happening. And then Harley says, wait, why the hell is that not what's happening? That's the whole reason I came here. And Red Robin says, I think somebody needs to go back to Arkham. And Harley says, nobody asked your opinion, Duck Boy. Red Robin says, Duck Boy. And Batgirl says, we don't have time for this. And Red Hood says, yeah, you can say that again. We got incoming. You see this clown shoot a missile, and Batman throws his batarang, takes it out mid-air. Yeah, pretty badass, guys. And the clown says, I'm gonna buy an island with your scalps. And then Orphan spoilers show up. They're like, no, you won't. And they take down this clown, guys. Then Batgirl says, there are more clowns coming. They know we're in the field. We can't stay here together. I want to get to the clock tower. I can coordinate from there. Nightwing can lead in the field. I'll take as many clowns down as I can along the way. Now, that's when we have this amazing moment between Dick Grayson and Batman. Now, Dick Grayson says, you need to go, Bruce. We'll get the city under control. Now, Batman says, Dick, I think it might be time for a change of clothes. I grabbed this from one of the microcaves in Wayne Enterprises. Now, he opens the suitcase, and it shows a Nightwing costume, guys. And Dick says, Bruce. And Batman says, it's good to have you back. And Dick says, you too. But there's a part of all this you didn't mention. He still has the Wayne fortune. What are we going to do about that? And he continues to say, first we take the Joker, and then we can worry about money. Now, guys, this is a great moment because it's been 2 years since Dick Grayson has worn that costume. And he's finally wearing it again. It was really cool. And James Tynion, how he pretty much sets up the scene is really well done. Now, we shift to Catwoman, Penguin, and Riddler. Now, what we see here is we see Riddler say, this building is absolutely hideous. And then Penguin says, They can't all be question marks and icebergs, Eddie. Catwoman, you got us out of my safe house into the heart of all this danger. I trust you have a plan. Now, Catwoman says, Graves, Willock, and Crane, the legitimate front for the Underbroker and his team of crooked money manipulators, this is our target. And Penguin says, some of that money is my money, Catwoman. And Catwoman says, if you listen to everything I say, you're about to have a whole lot more of it. And then it says pretty much that this whole story, this whole heist, takes place in Catwoman number 25. Now, we'll be covering that issue in a future video later on this week, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we continue and we shift to Ace Chemicals. Batman arrives, and you see this amazing splash page drawn by Jorge Jimenez. And it's just Batman just walking through the smoke. It looks really cool, guys. Like, I'll just say this. One, I finally know how to pronounce Jorge Jimenez's name. I used to say George Jimenez, but then the whole Batman Batman Joker War panel, I found out you pronounce it Jorge, but still, Jorge does a great job here. Like, it's probably one of my favorite images of Batman he's ever done. Now, continuing, what we see is Harley is there. And you see Batman, he hits like a thing, she shoots. What the hell did you think I kept saving your life for, Bats? Didn't you get the point, the big picture? It's time for this story to end. And Batman says, Harley, you know I can't let that happen. What we mostly see here is Harley says, it's not good enough. You can't just take a man back to Arkham, he'll come back, and we'll lose again. I was saving you so you could get rid of this, not for you to just prolong the inevitable. Like she's saying, you have to kill the Joker. If you won't do it, I'll do it for you. And Batman and Harley are having this back and forth, guys, and then Batman, he just says, no. And Harley says, then you stop me now. You put me down hard. You make sure I won't get right back up and finish the job myself. This can't just be like all the other times. This story needs to change. It needs an ending. And Batman looks at her and then walks into Ace Chemical. Now, what we see here, guys, it says, Joker, it's over. We'll have the city back in just a few hours, and you'll be incarcerated long before that. So do whatever you're going to do. Make whatever play you want to play. But no, I'm ready for it. And Joker says, oh really? And we see a dead Alfred. This is actually Alfred's corpse, which has Joker toxin on it, and he's just smiling, laughing at Bruce. And Joker says, dug him up from the backyard myself. I know you must still have more to say to him after losing him like you did. And then you see Alfred, his neck just snaps again. It's really frightening, guys, and a really crazy moment. And then Alfred says, Master Bruce? And Batman's just shocked. He says, no, this isn't real. And then behind Batman, you see Joker in the costume, the new Bat costume that was introduced in the first part of the storyline, which has blue. It looks amazing, guys. But now it has haha all over it. And you see Joker in this Batman costume. He says, see, Bruce, I promise, you're not ready for this at all. See Batgirl, she shows up to the clock tower in Burnside, and she says, computer activate. And she pretty much says, alright, I need eyes on everywhere to see all the Bat family go against the clowns. And her first order of business is, first things, any Bat vehicles currently in enemy hands needs to be put pretty much down. Like, all these Batmobiles need to be done, we're just gonna shut them down so we have less to deal with, right? She pretty much tells the whole Bat family that Oracle is back online. So guys, Batgirl is back in her original, like pretty much after she got shot, when she was just Oracle. She would help behind the screens, not actually in the battlefield, to help out the Bat family, guide them to success. I really like this thing, guys. It's a great way to open up the issue, and what we see is Pierce Batgirl leading all the Bat family to where they need to go to fight off all these clowns. We see Duke, we see Batwoman, we see Orphan and Cassandra Cain as Batgirl. Looks great, guys. We see Red Hood, we see Damian Wayne Robin, we see, actually, it's either Damian Wayne Robin or Tim Drake Robin. You guys tell me who you think that is down below, but you also see Clown Hunter. He's down to take out his own clowns. Yeah, he's not a part of the Bat family, but he's hearing all this, because Batgirl's actually saying this throughout Gotham City, saying we're going to take back pretty much Gotham City, take down the Joker, and she's saying it's time for the Bat family to pretty much strike back. Now, what we see is the GCPD, and this cop goes up to Bullock. He says, Commissioner Bullock, the mayor's office wants you to direct everyone to shut the Oracle system down. And Bullock says, there are lunatics in clown masks burning down the city, and he wants me to do what? And the cop says, he said that you do it or you're done. You're on thin ice as it is. And Bullock says, all this time, we thought we could make it better from the inside. Huh, Jim? He's referring to Commissioner Gordon, and he says, what would you do right now if you were in my place? Like I even have to ask. And he drops his badge. Bullock pretty much stops being a commissioner. And he says, tell Mayor Dutch that's my answer. And he says, boys, this is our ex-Commissioner Bullock speaking. The GCPD is being asked to stand down, be told that defying City Hall's going to cost you your badge or your gun. But I don't need a badge or gun to do what's right. I've got my radio and I'm going to follow Oracle and go help people. So a lot of you are going to have to decide right now. Do you want to be a cop in this crooked city, or you want to do what's right? So he pretty much gives his whole cops all these decisions. It's a really powerful moment. Now we transition, and we see Nightwing. He's fighting pretty much against his clowns. He says, Nightwing to Oracle. That line about the bat signal gave me chills. Samir's Batgirl said, hey, the bat signal is supposed to give hope to Gotham City, so it's time we lie again. So it's time that the Bat family strike back, right? So Nightwing say, yeah, that's pretty good. Now, Oracle says, that's just adjusting back into old spandex in the night air. And Nightwing says, it's not spandex. And she says, you really want to go head-to-head how the synthetic fabrics in your costumes are made? And Nightwing says, nope, just want to say it's great to hear your voice in my ear again. Batgirl says, and it's great to see you back in blue. The clown behind you has a gun. And Nightwing takes out this clown. He says, I already saw him. She says, no, you did. Now, Nightwing says, anywhere on the big guy, which is Batman. And she says, not yet, but I bet he has his hands full right now. Now, Joker says, what's the problem, Brucey? Is it the outfit, or do you not like my present? I thought you loved your butler. And guys, you see Joker in this bat suit. It looks really cool. He has like a smile on it. It's actually the suit that Batman wore when he was in like that dream like state, right? And it's like part 2 of the Joker wore. Now, that's when you see this dead Alfred, which is actually Alfred's corpse, and it's laughing and saying, Master Bruce, why? And Batman says, you're just trying to get in my head, throw me off. It won't work. He throws Alfred off him, and then Joker says, you really do hate guns, don't you? I used to think it was just because you're boring, but I think I'm starting to understand. It's amazing how many explosives you can fit into these little toys of yours if you're not afraid to spend some money. Now, you see, he has Joker batarangs, guys, or Joker ranks. That's what we're going to call them. He throws one of his Joker ranks, and he says, here, Bats, why don't you check out my improvements up close? He starts to laugh. Batman, he dodges barely. He says, no. And he sees this big explosion, and then Alfred says, you let me die. Well, why'd you let me die? And then Batman uses his grappling hook, he shoots it up, and he grabs Alfred. Alfred continues to say, I hate you, I hate you. And this is supposed to get Batman's head, but Batman's just pushing it off, right? Now, Batman lands atop of like this little ledge, right? He says, Batman to Oracle. He says, I need backup. Joker's taking Alfred's body and weaponized it. I need to get clear of this place. And Alfred says, I wish I'd been Aquaman's butler instead. Yeah, this is such a great line. And then Joker says, calling for help? Now that's cheating. This part is meant to be just you and me and some very expensive toys. Good thing one of them just killed your radio. So Batman is alone with the Joker, has no outside help, and then Joker then stabs Batman in the back and says, otherwise, all those weird little orphans you keep collecting would have to listen to their dear old Bat Dad get stabbed to death. And Batman says, shut up. And Joker says, be honest, it's the costume. I finally look as stupid as you do. Then Batman turns around, punches Joker in the face, and says, shut up. Now, what we see next is Joker and Batman fighting on this one ledge, and there's chemicals below them. And Joker says, there, that's the spirit, but it's not enough, Bats. See, I put a lot of thought into it, and I think it's time to say got a new Cape Crusader. And then he starts to push Batman off this ledge. And he says, I've got the suit, I've got the mic, hell, I've even got the freaking butler. Maybe I'll throw you into one of those vats, and you can be my Joker. Doesn't that sound fun? Role reversals are all the rage. Then Batman gets his utility belt, and he says, lights out. Lights out? That's no fair. Not that'll do you any good. You of all people should know. Bats can see in the dark. That's when we see Batman punches Joker in the face really hard, takes off his mask, and Batman says, you're not a bat. Joker falls to the ground, and Joker gets out one of his weapons. Batman's flying toward him, and Joker says, okay then, let's try this another way. And a big explosion sends Batman hurtling back. Now we shift, and we see Punchline watching the city as it pretty much gets taken back by the Bat family. And she says, it wasn't supposed to blow the factory yet. We're not ready. That's meant to be the next step. So she's mad that Joker just went against her orders. And he says, I need word from my clowns on the street. Give me a body count. Give me something. Why isn't any of you this stuff working? She's screaming. She throws her phone to the ground, and that's when the underbroker comes out. And he pretty much essentially says that, hey, I can't fund you anymore. The authorities are going to come take you in. I'm not on your side. And Punchline says, are you kidding me, underbroker? We've given you more money than God. And he says, now that money has been taken. And he says, I appreciate your business. Should you come into some money in the future, I believe you have my card. And she says, you piece of crap. So she's mad because underbroker just sold him out. He's out of this whole thing. And That's when she says, it's me. It's all over sooner than you thought. I'm sorry. I thought we'd be able to push things a little further. But I remember the plan, and I love you. I will never stop believing. But that's when she looks up. You see Nightwing. He's all standing tall, ready to go. And he says, I know a song that sounds like that. Hi, name's Nightwing. We haven't met yet. Not really. I've been out of town for a bit. And you see him with his sticks. He's ready to fight. It actually looks really dope, guys. Like, this is probably the best image by Jorge Jimenez in this book. And that's what he says. You're going to prison tonight. You're going to stay in prison for the rest of your life. And Punchline says, yeah, want to bet? She goes to attack Nightwing, and he says, yeah, let's bet. And he hits her in the face, and he says, you're not up against someone who forgot a lifetime of training anymore. This is over. And she's bleeding. She says, sorry, boy blue. The odds have just changed. You see all those clowns around her, ready to fight off against Nightwing. That's what Nightwing says, yeah, they sure did. And you see Red Hood, Orphan, Cassandra came back, girl, Duke, and Tim Drake all show up, guys, right behind Nightwing. Pretty much, he's brought the cavalry in. Now, that's when Oracle says, make this fast. We need you in Midtown. We still have word of clowns at 16 theaters. But I'm getting some rattling over the wire. They're not getting their money. I think they know this is over. Or at least that it's ending. Now, Nightwing says, who do you think stole the fortune back? And that's what she says, come on, Dick. I know you only just got your head back on your shoulders, but I thought you were trained by the world's greatest detective. And we know the person who stole the fortune is Catwoman, guys. And Catwoman's watching us all, and she says, come on now, love. It's time to end this. She's like, I set you up, Batman. Just finish the job. Now, we ship back to Batman fighting off his Joker, and he has Alfred by his side, well, a dead Alfred, and Oracle calls into Batman. Oracle, Batman, you have a blocker in your radio, but I bypassed it the best I can from here. I can't hear you, but you should be able to hear me. She says, we apprehended the tankers. Most of the clowns are falling back. Punchline will be in our custody in a matter of minutes. You take down the Joker, and this is all over. And then Batman says, my family has already taken the city back. You won't get your war. And then Alfred says, you can't win. And then Joker gets behind Batman and says, oh, Batman, don't you get it? You missed the war. I already won. You have to be smart enough to have figured that out already. Now, then he pulls something from Dark Knight Rises and stabs Batman in the back, guys, and he says, we're already onto the aftermath. Your little brats are only picking through the debris of a brand new city. They just don't see it yet. Now, Joker says, the movie theaters were just to get under your skin. It would have been a good joke to finish the job, to show them the sad face of their Dark Knight. But it's really about you and me right here. And Batman's grunty, sees a dead Alfred, and Joker says, it's about the suit you get to wear when you finally save Gotham City once and for all. And then you see this whole image of Batman, Catwoman kissing the future. What could have been a great future where Batman is pretty much living a good life. And Joker says that. He's like, whatever future you have dreamt of, where you got to wear the shiny costume's gone, because it's all gone. What did you picture? Retirement, spending long hours in the manor with Robbins and Gren Robbins cooling at your feet, and the city so bright and shine paragon, metropolis with fewer aliens? And then he says, no, that doesn't sound like Gotham, does it? And then Batman looks, and Joker says, this is what I wanted you to understand finally. This city does not want you. This city is sick of you, and sick of all the ways you failed it. You try to make it pretend it was a nice place. But it isn't. It's an angry city, a hungry city, a dangerous city. It doesn't want to be tamed. It doesn't want to be controlled. And I planted the right seeds. He stabs Batman right in the chest, and he keeps stabbing him, and he says, now, everybody knows that Wayne Enterprise is not there to help them. It's the same sort of corporate terror as all the other big companies in the world. But that's what Batman kicks him back. He's pretty much like, hey, shut up. Kicks him back into, like, this whole fire. Joker's laughing, and he goes to stab him again. It's like the Wayne family is a broken system, like Gotham City Hall, like the GCP. Nobody has faith in anything anymore, and they should. And why should they? It didn't stop a few clowns from flying a bat plane through your window. He gets on top of Batman, and he says, shouldn't you have been able to stop all this before it happened? Look, Bruce, you don't understand Gotham. You don't even live in the city. You're out in the fancy suburbs in your broody castle. Batman was a stupid little idea, a kid's stupid idea. And now the city sees it for how hollow it is. And Joker just keeps talking and talking for a long time, pretty much telling Batman he's stupid, right? Now, Batman's just listening, because he has a plan. Now, Joker takes out a knife, about to stab Batman in the face. We hear a bam, and Joker's shot right in the eye. And he falls to the ground, he's like, who? And then we see Harley Quinn. She says, hey, Mr. J, long time no see. She's above him. Joker says, Harles? And she says, I've been using your mugshot for target practice a long time now. But I gotta say that was pretty cathartic. And Joker says, still didn't get the kill shot, though. Now, Harley gets these pretty much cuffs, puts it around his hands, or his wrist, and she says, no, that has to come from him. And Batman says, Harley, what are you doing? And Harley says, we're going to play a little game, Batsy, and you're going to need to make a decision. She pulls out 2 bombs, and she pretty much puts one on Joker and one on her. And she pretty much tells Batman that, hey, this is how it works. Both these bombs are going to go off, but you got to choose who's going to be saved, right? And Batman's like, don't do this. She's like, you were losing. And Batman's like, no, I wasn't. I was calling in the family. They're in route here now. The longer I kept him talking, the more time I got. We don't need to end this way. He needs to be locked up. And Harley pretty much says, honey, you're talking to the wrong girl if you think he's not dangerous locked up in Arkham. It's like I said, that's not good enough for me. Not anymore. And Joker just keeps laughing. And she tells him, you're only going to get one of us in time, Bats. And she runs away. She's like, who's it going to be? So she gives Batman a choice. Save her or the Joker. Now, Joker says, I do love a wild card. She's still got that old spunk, does she? And Batman says, listen close. If you were smart enough to pick the pockets from the next gen's bat suit, the bomb can be disarmed. And he says, no, that's not how this works. You're going to have to save me yourself. You have to go and risk my dying and leave your bubbly's body to roast with me. Joker looks at Batman. Batman looks back. And they just walks right by. Joker says, what are you doing? Batman, come back. Don't just walk away from me. He says, don't you dare just walk away. And then Alfred just keeps laughing. He says, shut up. He's like, shut up. And we see this big bomb explosion. Now, 1 week later, Harley Quinn wakes up in the hospital. She survived. Batman chose her. And she says, I just had the weirdest dream. And she says, and you were there. And there was this mean lady with a dumb name who wasn't even funny or anything. And Batman says, Harley? And she says, how long has it been? He says, a week. And she says, told you it was a good bomb. And she says, you know, you really had me fooled a second there. Now, is he dead? And Batman says, I found his bomb intact. Deactivated just in time with the tools he stole from the bat suit he'd been wearing. There's been no sign of him since. And Harley says, yeah, he's never been the encore kind of clown. When the big show's over, he heads to the ground. Now, that's what Batman says, but now he knows. And you know too, I think that matters. It looks so different already. She says, huh? He says, to see, it's changed so much. Like, it's really different from when it was like all chaos in the Joker War. And she says, I mean, sure, it's uglier, but it's always been kind of ugly. A big ugly city full of ugly people doing ugly things. But they're still just, you know, alive. Doing things, trying their best. She smiles and says, and you help keep them alive. That's pretty neat, I think. And Batman smiles and says, you're right. And she says, oh, brother, I'm just on some happy juice, aren't I? I'm not used to being this generous to those bozos out there. And then Batman says, I'm glad you're okay. And she says, are you? And he says, I had to bury my father again today, which is Alfred. He says, I did with my family. And he says, he once told me that a fight with Joker is a fight against death itself. And that fighting is living, continuing on. And he says, I'm ready for that. And he says, everything I've lost, I don't know that I ever needed. And what comes next is going to be hard. But I think I can meet it face on. I think I can be a better man, a better Batman. And Harley smiles and says, well, good. No point being a crappier Batman, you know? He says, I guess not. She says, now, you gotta help me bust out of this joint before they ask me about health insurance, okay? Now we shift to the epilogue. And we see this one character, Ghostmaker, the next villain. He says, oh, Bruce, what a mess you made. Our teachers would have been ashamed of you. I think it's time your city had choice as protector. The truce is over. It's time for Gotham to meet the Ghostmaster. And it says next, after the laughter. So yeah guys, that was the whole entire story of Batman the Joker War. But yeah guys, this is written by James Tynion and drawn by Jorge Jimenez, and I thought it was a pretty solid story, right? It wasn't the best. It started out pretty good and kind of fumbled at the finish line, but this is the latest event in the Batman comic line, right? Next we have a whole entire thing like the Ghostmaker, and we have the Clown Hunter. It's gonna get more interesting, but this event was supposed to be like a big deal. The final showdown between Batman and the Joker. And I don't feel like it was, alright? It wasn't at all. It was the same old, okay, Joker takes over, Batman has to fight back, oh, he needs the Bat family, which, that kind of gets old. That's the one thing I didn't really like, because it felt kind of like it was just rehashing a lot of things. Like, most of the story was rehashing old things that happened in Batman comics. Now, not to say the stuff it was rehashing wasn't good, like, that was it rehashed some great things, but I'd rather see more original content than rehashes, right? But still, I thought it was pretty solid. Jorge Jimenez did a great job throughout. His artwork was amazing. He's one of my favorite artists in the entire, like, comic industry, and he showed it here. Especially his Joker, his Harley Quinn, Punchline's design was amazing, and the Batman especially, when, like, he's going against people, the action sequences were really well done. And just like the sequential artwork was really cool. Like in certain scenes, so they're going through, like, maybe it's like a fight, or maybe Punchline's talking to the clowns. Those are just drawn so well. I feel like Jorge Jimenez was like the big thing that kept this whole event up. If you would have had another artist that wasn't so good, I don't think this event would have fared as well. But since you have Jorge Jimenez, he kind of carried it, right? I still thought James Tynion did a good job. I did like Clown Hunter. He's a cool character. I'm looking forward to see more about him in more issues, like future issues. And I did like pretty much the middle of it. Like Punchline versus Harley Quinn, that was cool. Batman meeting up with Alfred, that was great. And even the beginning was seeing Joker's Gotham, seeing Joker steal Batman's money, use it for like Joker planes, Joker mobiles. That was really dope. And it created like a cool atmosphere for Batman to be in. But the fact that Batman had to go through another trance of, oh, I'm alone, oh, I need the Bat family, oh, I need help from them, oh, let's go take down Joker, and immediately once he gets the Bat family, it's just easy walk. Like, literally, before he got the Bat family, Joker was taking over, oh, it's hopeless, Batman can't win. But immediately when he got help from the Bat family, it was like, alright, Punchline was like, alright, what's going on? Underbroker said, I give up. Joker was just trying a last-ditch effort to take down the Batman, and it went from, oh, high stakes to, alright, they're just wrapping it up. That's my big problem with Batman number 100. I gave my review on it a couple days back, and I still gave it an 8 out of 10 at that time. I thought it was solid, mainly because of the artwork, and there was still some cool action sequences, and cool, like, I like the Bat family. Like, seeing Nightwing come back as Nightwing, like, see Dick Grayson get the Nightwing persona back instead of be Rick Grayson was a big thing that helped this whole entire event. That was really awesome. Batgirl becoming Oracle again, that was cool. Just all the aspects of the Bat family was really great. And I did like Batman for a change, too. Just the whole thing of seeing Batman and the Joker go face-to-face again and nothing really different was a letdown. Because it was marketed as, okay, Batman, Joker, the final showdown, but we didn't really see a final showdown. It's just another fight. That's it. And the whole thing that, oh, Joker steals Batman's money, that's not a new concept. I thought it was cool at the beginning. It was done well, but it wasn't really expanded upon. I thought they were expanded upon. I thought James Tynion would be like, alright, you've seen this concept before, but now I'm going to make it even more cooler, right? Make it more complicated, add some stuff to it. But it didn't really. It just, yeah, you create some cool action set pieces and some cool scenes, but nothing really new. That's the main thing about the story. There's nothing new about it, alright? It's stuff we've seen before. But that could be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's like, okay, I want new original content from like Batman, a new story, but seeing as like Tom King's run where Batman goes against like Bane and Flashpoint Batman, that was new. That was actually a really cool concept, just Tom King fumbled with it. He didn't do a good job with that because like Flashpoint Batman, he could be a cool villain, he could be a cool father figure of Batman. There's so many ways you could make that great. Like, you could have really made an awesome story, one for the ages for Batman. But Tom King somehow screwed that up by making it, okay, Thomas Wayne Bailey shows up to the end, and then all of a sudden he becomes the villain. When he became the villain, I think when they, like, explained it, how he's been watching this entire time, it didn't feel like Tom King set that up. It was just more like, oh, they just made him the villain at the end, just switch it up. And then Bane, he was starting out great in Tom King's run, but then he kind of fumbled too, because then we get that much of him toward the end. So there's a lot of great concepts that just fell apart. So I like new stuff, but it needs to be handled well. Now, for Joker War, it's the exact opposite. It's nothing new, but I thought it was handled well in the case, but we've seen it handled well before. So, I don't know, like, it depends what you want. Do you want something that's new, original, that could be, some people may like it, some people may hate it, or do you want something that we've seen before that, yeah, we can count on it being good, but it's nothing new. Like, that's pretty much what I see with the Joker, where, like, I count on it being good because I've seen these concepts before, and I know those concepts are good. Like, Joker taking over Gotham, Joker stealing Batman's money. Those are cool concepts. But we've seen it before, so it doesn't need to be done again. Not really. But then with Tom King's run with the whole Sea of Bane, it's a new concept that could have been awesome, guys. I feel like that's something we need. Tom King's run, I know a lot of people hated it. I wasn't a big fan of it either, mostly the end. But if he would have a great job, it could have been one of the best Batman runs of all time, mainly because it's something new. Because we've been getting, over the years, been a lot of just rehashing. A lot of, okay, here's a new story about the Joker. Oh, here's a new story about this. Well, actually, it's been mostly the Joker. Which I feel like Joker should be he should take a break, alright? Writers shouldn't quickly, once they jump on the Batman title, should be like, oh, I need to do like a Joker story. No, you don't. You don't need to do a Joker story. Maybe talk about Two-Face. Maybe Penguin. Some other different villain. Like, yeah, Riddler and Penguin are in this whole event, but they're more side characters. Why not make them main characters and give them their own event? Give us something new, but don't fumble with it. I think that's the big thing with Batman comics right now. But yeah, guys, the concept below to know about this whole Joker War event. Do you like it? Do you think it was an amazing event, masterpiece, or you agree with me, it's solid, but it's nothing new, or do you not like it at all? And actually, tell me your thoughts on the current state of Batman comics. Do you think writers are struggling to come up with something new, and when they do come up with something new, say Tom King, he screws it up, or the fans reject it? You guys tell me all your thoughts on that, because I think that that's a really interesting concept, a really interesting topic that I'd like to hear you guys talk about, alright? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.